Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast, where I go over the top news of the last week in retro handhelds, retro gaming, and just gaming in general. This is going to be the last newscast for about a month or so. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. For now, let's get into all of the news. There is an actually stable or stable-ish version of CEMU, the Wii U emulator, for Android that's out right now. I was playing around with it a little bit the other day, and it's surprisingly good for where it's at in development. There are still crashes and bugs and things that aren't working and all of that sort of thing, but I was able to play a few games for quite a bit before bad things happened. This was all on my Odin 2 Mini, so I can't speak to how other devices will do, but seems to run well on this at least. Check it out if you're bored and you want to try out some Wii U on Android finally. Trixarian, who you might remember as the developer that took EtherealSX2 and made it into NetherSX2, has hosted his project for his upcoming EtherealSX2. The main idea is he's going to port PCSX2 from the PC to Android. So nothing from the ground up, just going to use existing code and port it over, and that way it can stay in line with all of the updates that PCSX2 gets. If there ever was a PS2 project on Android to watch, it is going to be this one. There is an Xbox One translation layer active, and it has 6 games that are currently playable. They are indies and low-resource games, of course, but it's cool nonetheless. The basic idea of a translation layer from somebody who is not an expert is that it's not an emulator, where you have to mimic the device's hardware. A translation layer is when your PC, in this case, and the device that you want to emulate share enough of the same architecture and things that you need to create a translation layer, so it's using less resources to mimic that device. Thanks for coming to my quick Googled TED Talk, but the general idea is that there is a way to play Xbox One games, and soon, probably the ones that you care about. Okay, so we have the full spec list for the upcoming Anbernic RG406V. As expected, and known to most, there is the T820 chip inside, which is the same as the RG556 and the Cube. It has a new 4-inch 960 by 720 screen, which is new to Anbernic, and it's a decent upgrade from their usual 640 by 480. 5500 mAh battery, which is the same that they used in the RG405V, and the same shell that they're using here as far as the design goes. All the other usual jazz that comes with these devices, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. This one has video output, but I'm guessing it's the same as the 556 and the Cube, which means that you can't charge and do video output at the same time. It's either or. One interesting thing to note is they say that it has a large angle 3D Hall joystick, which you would take to mean that it's a larger stick than normal, but from the videos it looks like it's a normal Switch stick, so I'll have to wait till I get it in my hands. One other thing to confirm is it says it has Hall effect triggers, which I'm hoping means analog triggers, otherwise I'm not sure what the point of the T820 is if you don't have analog triggers for GameCube and even Dreamcast and more. So my review unit from Anbernic is actually coming, and yeah, I said from Anbernic. Some things have changed in the last week, surprisingly. But either way, it is coming. The only problem is I won't be here to receive it and get you out a review before this goes up for pre-order. But for a different reason this time, because I won't be here on vacation. We'll talk about that soon. Also from Anbernic, there will be 3 new RG35XX SP colors coming. Transparent green, transparent pink, and transparent white. We are a few weeks away from these colors coming. I have the white one coming in, and I'm actually pretty curious to see if anything has changed from the launch to this as far as design or manufacturing and things like that on the internals part. Gonna keep an eye on that. The Retroid Pocket 5 and Mini went up for pre-order, and the 24-hour early bird pricing is over now. I think there is still some sort of discount that's available for as long as the pre-order is on. I don't know. There's so many different discounts and things like that. But if you go to the page, there are still 2 codes that are active on both devices. And so you can get $5 or $10 off depending on the device. And that's still available to you as of right now. So with the Mini releasing this month, I don't know if I'm actually getting a review unit. Doesn't matter either way. I won't be here. but that also means I'm not sure if I'm getting a review unit for the 5. So I'll let you know as I get them, if I get them, what's going on there. Otherwise, it'll just have to wait until it ships out and I get the retail unit, and then we'll see if there's any initial batch problems that Retroid is just used to getting. If you're wondering, I bought the GameCube colored version of the 5 and I bought the 16-bit version of the Mini because to me, those are the best choices. I really wish they will come out with a special edition Mini with the GameCube colors, which is what I'm hoping for, but for now, these are the two best that I like. Some important things to note since the last week of Newscast. There has been a lot of changes to these devices. First, the 5 got a spec bump to 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it is running Android 13 now. The Mini, no change to RAM, but it will be able to flash Android 13. It is going to ship with Android 10. I'm not sure what the process is going to be to go from 10 to 13. I can't imagine it's going to be very difficult for anybody that's familiar enough with custom firmware and all of that sort of thing, but we'll see when we learn more about how to do that. Now, because of the RAM bump, the price retail of the 5 is going to go up. I'm going to imagine it's about $10 or so. I don't think it'll be massive, but it is going to go up. So keep that in mind for retail pricing. The 5 will be more than it is now. The PlayStation 5 Pro was announced, and it is going to be $699 US. It releases November 7th, and it goes up for pre-order September 26th. And I have no idea if that changes for different parts of the world, but that's what I saw for both US and Canada. There is no disk drive that's included. There is no vertical stand that's included. The GPU is faster. There is advanced ray tracing, and there is AI upscaling through their PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution technology. The basic idea is they want to remove the choice of graphics and frame rate and combine the two into one option that you're going to pick. And I'm willing to bet in 6 months we are going to see games come out that still have those options on the PS5 Pro, because if there's one thing we've learned from developers is when you give them more power, they're still just going to push it to the end and then give us an option of, hey, do you want the frame rate or you want the graphics? So I don't see that changing unless there's going to be something coming on down from Sony that says, hey, you have to only give one option or whatever, but we'll see. It also has a 2 terabyte hard drive included, which is a big upgrade compared to the 825 that the launch models had. Okay, so look, I am not the best barometer for this. I buy every console at launch. It doesn't matter, revisions, new ones, all of that. I continually upgrade my consoles and I get the best ones that I can because I use them. I like using them. I bought the PS5 at launch. It was 629 Canadian dollars for the 828 or 825 gigabyte SSD model. This is going to cost 959 Canadian dollars, so $300 more, but seems like you're going to get quite a bit in that. The 2 terabyte hard drive, the upgrades to graphics, all of that sort of thing. Again, I am not the barometer for this. I will be buying this no matter what. I already have it on my list to purchase. I sold my PS5, I'm grabbing this, all of that sort of thing. So don't look to me for a good take on this one. For me, I have the TV, I have the sound system, I have all of the things that can push this to what it's going to use. So if it's going to go 4K 120 for some games, probably not, but if it is, I have the TV for that. I have the ecosystem to make those games look as good as they are. But I can completely understand that the PS5 Pro is not for everybody. I can completely understand that you might want to just grab the PS5. It is definitely not going to be a thing that is going to be on everybody's list. And the price is obviously going to be a barrier to entry for a lot of people. All of these sort of things. If you're asking me, obviously I'm going to purchase it. If I'm asking you, probably you're not going to purchase it. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. We all have our own different things that we like and different things that we'll purchase and all that sort of thing. There's a guy on my Discord that does bread makers and he'll spend hundreds of dollars on a bread maker. I'll buy it for $40, a Cuisinart one, and that's fine for me. That is the point I'm trying to make. It might not be for you, and that's perfectly fine. I also think they did a very bad job of showcasing this completely. The side-by-sides where, for some reason, in portrait mode and smaller than the entire video was, and in the whole 9-minute video, they showed older games and games that not a lot of people might care about or will go back to, and didn't really show much because of the compression of YouTube of what's new or what's different and all that sort of thing. Now, I can look behind this and say most likely it's going to do what they're saying it's going to do. I just think they did a very bad job of showcasing it in a video, which is their problem for marketing. But here's the thing. As somebody who's played a bunch of PS5 games, Final Fantasies 16 and 7 Remake and all of that, and God of Wars and all that sort of thing, there is just enough holding back due to graphics and frame rate, especially in Final Fantasy 16, for example, and all of that, where the extra bump in power that this is going to give will make it a lot more playable to me. I couldn't play Final Fantasy 16 on my PS5 because of all of the frame rate and graphical issues and all that sort of thing. At least at launch. I didn't check it after that, but it was a big problem at launch. So if this brings that up quite a bit, makes it a stable 60, all of that sort of thing, that's more than enough for what I want. But obviously, again, probably won't be for everybody. So yeah, to wrap up my thoughts here, I don't necessarily think it's overpriced. I think it's expensive, and there's a difference between those two. And I don't think it's going to be for everybody. And also, that's perfectly fine. You can stick with the PS5, and I'm sure it'll probably go on sale and all of that. So if you're looking for a PS5 and you don't want to break the bank, then just get the usual one. Or if you have the 4K TV and 120 and all of that to drive this, then, and the money, for example, then grab this. I mean, it's up to you. I'm actually very curious to see what Microsoft does in response to this, but the difference is Sony has the games and they already had the hardware. All they did here was upgrade the hardware. Microsoft has neither. They are behind on both. So even if they come out with better hardware, it doesn't change anything on the games front, but still curious to see what they do. If my videos have been helping you, consider supporting me on Patreon, or just give this video a like and a sub. You can also come join me on the Discord and talk all about retro handhelds all day, every day. Okay, so I got in trouble last week by you guys because I didn't talk about Astrobot. And it wasn't through any malicious intent on my end. I love Astrobot. Astrobot's Playroom is one of my favorite experiences on the PS5. I don't have a PS5 right now. I ordered the PS5 Astrobot bundle with the controller and the game, and it just arrived yesterday, but I have no PS5 because I'm waiting for the PS5 Pro, as we just talked about. So it wasn't my intent not to talk about Astrobot. Astrobot is fantastic, and if you look at the reviews, it has a 94 on Metacritic right now, which is just absolute insanity. I cannot wait to play that game. I cannot wait for November 7th when my PS5 Pro arrives, because that'll be the first game that I play. And it's killing me because I really want to play some Astrobot, but I have no PlayStation to do so. So for everybody who got mad at me for not talking about Astrobot last week, I am with you. I love Astrobot. It just made me sad to not be able to talk about it. Okay, so last news of the day, and this is going to be the last newscast that I'm going to do for the next month. It actually won't be back until October 11th. The reason being is I'm going to be on vacation for 3 or 4 weeks or so, whatever it is. I'm leaving this Sunday, so I'm gone. That means no videos, no newscast, no nothing from me for a month because I don't have a backlog of videos. I didn't catch up. So I got nothing for you. So no Joey for a month, and I'm sorry. If you're wondering where I'm going, the wife and I are going to be headed off to Europe, going to be hitting up London, Hungary, and Italy, and different parts of them. So I'm not going to go over all of it because I don't want you finding me at all. But if you're also wondering what devices I'm going to bring, I have no idea. I have not decided yet, and that's going to be a game time decision. Right now, it is between my Ally X, my Odin 2 Mini, and quite possibly the RG35XX SP. Problem is, the SP, I don't do USB-C to C charging, and I don't want to bring a USB-A to C cable, so I don't want to bring it. That leaves it between the X and the Odin 2 Mini. Probably just going to bring the Mini, considering that's the device that I always have on me. It's always in my sling bag, so it's no matter where I go, always with me. The X is quite a bit bigger. I'm not sure that I can justify bringing that. So probably going to be the Odin 2 Mini that comes around with me because I love that handheld. It's fantastic. I think the best part about going on a trip is it helps you realize what devices are good and what devices are not, if that makes sense. It really makes you look at your collection and say, yeah, if I had to go on a trip or desert island, what would I bring? And the answer, I guess, for me is the Odin 2 Mini. Appreciate you all for watching, and that's all from me. Kekkurtartsuatiat? Kekkurtartsuat. Oh, if you're from here, you're going to really hate me. Kekkurtartsiat. I'll put it in the comment and you can see what this city name is and you tell me how you pronounce it.